Hello everybody, I just recorded this entire video only to find out that my camera wasn't recording. Happy days. Happy 2011 though, and say goodbye to 2010, and so it's time to do our Game of the Year video. Now, I just wanted to say that I am one person, and so I obviously have not played every game released. This is just my opinion on what I thought were the best games of 2010. Also, it doesn't matter the year of release for a game, it just matters if I played it this year, as it is Game of the Year. So if I played it this year, it is eligible. However, most of them are released in 2010. Also, I do own God of War 3, however, I have not played it yet, and so don't be surprised to see it absent from this list, because I can't nominate it if I haven't played it, obviously. Now on to Game of the Year. We often find it hard to put down a controller. In fact, I often hear stories of people putting hundreds of hours into a single title. Now, while I haven't personally done that this year, here are the 3 titles that I nominated for most addicting of 2010. The first one is White Knight Chronicles. Sure, the JRPG is slipping, that's for sure, and some might even say that this game wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Not for me, however, as I finished the single-player campaign in just 3 sittings. Now sure, the campaign isn't all that long, but what it did offer was pure, nonsensical JRPG goodness. The second is Heavy Rain. Let's face it, when a game offers an amazing atmosphere, it's so hard to put the controller down, and this is exactly what Heavy Rain did. Quantic Dream created the most alive and real world in video games ever, and there is a move patch or whatever that's coming out, so it is really high on my replay list, and I'm definitely ready to get addicted all over again. And the third and final one had to be Dance Dance Revolution. Now, the gameplay that comes out of DDR isn't exactly what we would call dancing, but it's just so fun. And I mean, who doesn't like dancing, sorry. And Konami this time around added trophies, so my life is now over. Now, the winner for most addicting of 2010 definitely has to be Heavy Rain. While Konami tried to revolutionize dancing and Level 5 tried to chronicle a White Knight story, it was the torrential downpour that won me over. Again, like I said, I'm definitely going to replay it with the move. It was just so awesome. I was stressed out of my mind the whole time, and the story was just amazing. I was addicted from beginning to end. Good job, Heavy Rain. Most addicting of 2010. Okay, if I go what do you think of? Jaws, right? Right. Music is a vital part of any video game. Like when I hear the Final Fantasy VII theme song, I get that, nostalgia feeling in my stomach. And it's kind of similar to the sad feeling I get when I think of how good the Final Fantasy series used to be. In all seriousness though, here are my nominees for the best musical score of 2010. Now, ironically, the first nominee is Final Fantasy XIII. Sure, the game wasn't all that great, in my opinion, of course, whatever. It wasn't that great, and Nobuo Uematsu, who usually composes for the series, stepped down from the composing stand this time around, but somehow the Final Fantasy sounds still seep through, and the music was awesome. Definitely had to nominate this one. Now, the second one is Nier. Kane kicks ass, and that's basically all I have to say, and this game is already awesome. But if you couple that with the amazing score, it adds to her awesomeness somehow, and you just get an amazing game and even more amazing music. Nier, great music. And finally, Resonance of Fate. This is a little-known JRPG that was released 1 or 2 weeks away from Final Fantasy XIII. Sega, what are you thinking? Anyways, the world of Bazel was absolutely alive, but it was basically only because of the music. The score ranged from huge orchestra to hard rock, and every single one of the tracks rocked. But despite the other 2, the winner this year is most definitely Nier. Again, Kane is awesome. That game is awesome, but the best part of that game was the music. Go listen to it. Look it up on YouTube. Nier OST, absolutely amazing. Nier, you win Best Music of 2010. Okay, this next award. Now, just because a game is on this list does not mean that I thought it was bad. It just means that I was expecting something more powerful, I guess. So here are my nominees for the most disappointing game of 2010. Okay, the first one has to be Final Fantasy XIII. Now, I'm already planning on arming myself for the attacks I'll get in the comments, but let's face it, the game just did not live up to the Final Fantasy name. Second was God of War Chains of Olympus. Now, like I said, this game was not bad, but I started the game at the beginning of a 4-hour car ride, and by the end I was seeing the credits, and I was left wanting a little bit more Kratos, and I just did not get it. And finally, Dante's Inferno. I don't know what the heck was up with this game, but it just seemed like it was trying to live up to the mighty Kratos, and it just simply could not. And so the winner for this category, or rather the loser, most definitely is Dante's Inferno. I don't know if he didn't have big enough abs, or what the heck was wrong with that game. I don't even know what went wrong. I can't point it out, but whatever it was, it stunk. Okay, so everyone knows that in a campaign-based game or a single-player game, we all expect great characterization, and so I wanted to kind of honor that. And so this next award goes to the best character in a game that I played in 2010. So the first one I nominated was Pigsy from Enslaved. It was absolutely hilarious. He added so much to the story. I mean, for the first 10 or something chapters, there's only 2 characters in the entire game. I think they should have added him a little bit earlier because he was absolutely awesome to watch, and I loved every second that he was on the screen. The second is Scott Shelby from Heavy Rain. Now, maybe I shouldn't say much about this character, but just play the game. You obviously won't regret it. It's amazing, and he is the best part of the game. Go play it because he's awesome. And finally, Hope from Final Fantasy XIII. He had fangirls screaming, and he added a sense of hope to the story, well, an otherwise lacking story. He added so much, and I just enjoyed him being on the screen no matter how much he whined. I really liked him. And so the winner of the best character of 2010 definitely goes to Pigsy from Enslaved. I'm sorry, the scene where they were shot out of the aircraft that they made and they were in the escape pod thing with Trip, Monkey, and him all smushed was probably one of the most genius scenes in video gaming I've ever seen. That game was awesome, and just Pigsy made it so much better. Thanks a lot, Pigsy. Okay, so not many Game of the Year awards nominate things like characters like I just did, or what I'm about to do now, which is the best moment I had in gaming this year. This just includes like scenes from a game, not like getting a trophy or something, but the best moment or scene in a video game in 2010. Here are the nominees. The first one is the ending from Enslaved. Let's face it, when we finish a game and see the final cutscene, there's just something about it. But this one was special. Throughout the entire game, it was very vague. The story was very vague. Everything was vague. You didn't know much about what was going on. But the story was intriguing enough to keep you playing. But when the ending finally happened, it explained everything, and it was just an amazing, amazing game. The ending was awesome, one of the best moments of 2010. In fact, I just experienced it a couple days ago. And the second nominee is the ending of Final Fantasy XIII. Endings are awesome, like I said. They give you that warm, tingly feeling. But the ending of Final Fantasy, again, was special from the rest. Sure, the 40 or whatever hours I played before it weren't that great, but the ending of Final Fantasy really reminded me of why I fell in love with this series in the first place. And lastly was the opening film in Gran Turismo 5. If you don't have the game, which you should, just YouTube it because it's awesome. It's mixing the best forms of media into one, video games and film. This was just a short film created for the opening credits, and it's absolutely amazing. It shows the process of making a car, and I don't know, it blew me away. And when I first put GT5 in, I just sat there and watched the whole thing because it was awesome. Anyways, the winner for the best moment in gaming of 2010 has to go to the ending of Final Fantasy XIII. I mean, I'll admit it, I usually cry at the end of things, but Final Fantasy XIII was like no other. I had a friend over while I finished it, and I still cried. It was amazing. I loved it. The scene was awesome, beautifully rendered. The art direction in that game is crazy. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Go watch it. Final Fantasy, the ending of the 13th was the best moment this year for me, for sure. That was a long sentence.